Hey everyone, it's me, the Retroden, and today I'm here to give you a small update on my backlog. Because a few days or weeks ago, I made a video talking about how I'm going to start tackling my backlog again, and for one of the first times ever, after making that video, I have some progress to show. And I wanted to make this video to kind of give you an update on what I've been playing, what I've beaten, and what were some of the highlights from the games I've recently played that I've cleared from my backlog. So let's start with the only game I dropped during these past few weeks, which was Terror of Amasaurus. And I actually started it yesterday, but after a few minutes of playing, I didn't really feel like this game was for me. It's an arcade game where it provides some insight into climate change and tries to make some fun out of it, that climate change is going to bring a dinosaur that's going to kill everyone, but the moment-to-moment gameplay is pretty repetitive, and it's not trashing on the game looks really good, and it can be fun for people who enjoy kind of these repetitive, small, arcade-ish games, but the game just isn't for me. Maybe I'll come back to it later, but for now I've put it out of the backlog, and I have had enough of it. Then for the first game I actually have beaten, and I've 100%ed as well for these few weeks I've been clearing my backlog, it's Half-Life 2 Episode 1. So Half-Life 2 Episode 1, another Half-Life 2 game. The game is pretty short, clocking in at around 3 to 4 hours, and I had a lot of fun going through the achievements. I think this is classic, as all of you know Half-Life probably guessed. The gameplay is similar to the original Half-Life 2 and it follows up on the story. The achievements were debatable on how difficult and good they were. Some were really tedious, having you do repetitive stuff, and other ones bugged out on me, especially the one where you have to go the entire playthrough without shooting a single bullet and just using the gravity gun and the missiles. That one bugged on me, so I had to do some bug fixing around that to eventually pop it. But overall, a really fun game, and I'm looking forward to finishing the achievements on Half-Life 2 and beating Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Right after that, I decided to pick up a cozy game to change up the tonality, so going from a dark dystopian future into something pretty cozy, and I picked up Alba, a wildlife adventure, a game I had bought quite recently, but I decided to tackle it off the backlog like sooner than later because I knew this was a quick one and I wanted to get to it as soon as possible. So this is another game that advocates for climate change. I don't know what it's with me and playing games that advocate for climate change recently, but I just found two of them and decided to play them. And this one was a cozy game, no difficulty to it at all, basically a 0 out of 10. I got all the achievements for it, which is basically just going through the game. And in this game, all you have to do is basically go through it, take pictures of animals, and it has a small story in regards to the island where it takes place. The art style is really good. It has a really cozy feeling to it, and it's very vibrant when it comes to its colors. So I really enjoyed the small experience. It's like 2 to 3 hours, nothing that serious, but overall a very enjoyable game. And if you get it on discount for like €5, I'd recommend trying it out. Like, why not? Next we have a game that had been sitting on my backlog for quite a while, and that game is Strider. Published by Capcom and developed by both Capcom and Double Helix Games, this game is a Metroidvania that Capcom published way back in 2014, at least on Steam it was published in 2014, and I've never heard anything about this. And Capcom being known for things like Monster Hunter and Resident Evil and Street Fighter, I've never guessed they had a Metroidvania, and pardon my ignorance if this is a franchise that they've had for a long time, but I honestly knew nothing about it, and I was very positively surprised. I've beaten the game, I've even done the speedrun achievement for it, and I'm now going and collecting all the upgrades, so maybe I can just do my hard playthrough and 100% it, because the game is quite fun. I don't play many Metroidvanias as I'm not that good at them, and I've played like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but overall this was a very fun experience. I quite liked what I did, and I hope to see more from this franchise in the future from Capcom. If not, I'm very satisfied with what I played, and I'm glad to have taken this out of the backlog, even though it has been sitting there for a long time. And the last game we're going to talk about in this video is the one that I've talked about in my most recent video, which I'm finally glad to get off my Steam backlog, which is LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. If you want to know my thoughts on that game, go watch the video, but if you want some TLDR for how I felt about it, it's really good, it holds up, still one of the best LEGO games and Star Wars games that has ever released. I had a lot of fun with it, but there's some optional playthroughs that I'm not really fond of, that I think shouldn't even need to be in the game, and they're just padding out the extra playtime. but it was a blast to get it off my backlog, and if you want to know more about how I really feel about the game, go watch my most recent video, which I had a lot of fun making, and I'd really like for you guys to watch. Other than that, I'd just like to say I know it was a small and slow start, but I had really a lot of fun playing these games, and I hope to put more games into this list in the future, and I'm going to keep talking about them here just so I can have them cataloged as I beat them, because I think it's good and people usually like to hear about what others are playing, and maybe that motivates them to play some more games, seeing others make progress on their backlog. But let me know what you feel about it, and if you've heard of any of these games and maybe played them yourself. Other than that, this has been the Retro Den. I'm out.